Coming of Age is coming up next. I'm your host, Emily Echeverria. First today, we're discussing rotator cuff tears, the symptoms and treatments. Next, we'll be talking about the work of Alzheimer's Association and the upcoming walk to End Alzheimer's in December. Finally, we'll tell you how you can brighten the holidays for seniors in need through the Be a Santa to a Senior program. Stay with us. Coming of Age starts right now. As we age, staying active and connected to community can sometimes become more challenging. But with Council on Aging of West Florida's broad range of home and community-based services, you can stay healthy, independent, and engaged in life. From Meals on Wheels and respite care to senior dining sites and the retreat, we provide the support and connection you need to age your way. Aging is a unique journey for everyone, and we're here to help you meet your needs and thrive while preserving what makes you, you. Since 1972, we've been a trusted advocate for elders and a support system for those who care for them. Now, let's dive into the age-related issues that matter most to you. Over 2 million people in the United States seek medical attention for rotator cuff injuries each year. The risk of injuries increases as we age. Here to talk to us more about this topic is Tracy Fox Nelson, physician assistant at Andrews Institute for Orthopaedics and Sports Medicine. Thank you for joining me today, Tracy.
Thanks for having me.
So first of all, what exactly is the rotator cuff, and why is it so important for shoulder movement?
So rotator cuff is made up of 4 muscles and tendons that basically join the ball and the socket, and they help stabilize the shoulder. So if you do not have a rotator cuff, you are not able to lift your shoulder. So essentially, they provide stabilization for the shoulder and also allow you to lift the shoulder up overhead.
This is making me want to roll my shoulders back. So how common are rotator cuff injuries?
They're unfortunately super common, more common as we age. So people think that the most common reason is because of acute injuries, but we actually see them more commonly as people age from degenerative tears.
Okay, and so who's most at risk?
So most at risk is going to be the elderly, so people over the age of 60. In addition, unfortunately, obesity plays into it, diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, family history actually comes into play. And then people who have acute trauma, obviously, and long-term manual labor does. And male gender actually plays a role as well.
Okay, like males are more susceptible?
Males are more susceptible.
Gotcha.
But as you age, each decade has an increasing risk.
Mm-hmm. So are rotator cuff injuries more common in athletes, or do you see them more in just everyday regular people?
So we see them in both. Athletes definitely have them, and that's our younger acute athletes that have, acute tears. So they may have a massive avulsion. However, as they age, like I said, we see definitely more in the elderly population that have degenerative tears that just have insidious onset of pain. So over time, pain just kind of comes on, and they get more painful as time goes by.
So what are the early warning signs? Is it kind of that pain?
So pain is one big one. Nighttime pain is probably the biggest thing that they complain of. They also complain of lateral shoulder pain. So everyone comes in thinking that they have pain in their humerus instead of actually their shoulders. So they'll come in saying that it's their arm, but that's actually from the rotator cuff. The other is that they have difficulty with lifting their arm up above their head, and they get weakness up above head.
So how do you diagnose a rotator cuff tear? Do you have to get an MRI, or can a physical examination find that sort of thing?
So physical exam is definitely important and can definitely give you key factors of knowing if they have a rotator cuff tear, but for definitive diagnosis, MRI definitely plays a role. A lot of people can have small cuff tears as they age and not be symptomatic is the hard part. So if you scanned people over the age of 70, some of them will have partial tears and they're not truly symptomatic. So you have to look at that too, and you're not treating just a scan. But ultimately, if they have weakness and they're persistently complaining and have failed physical therapy, then they're getting an MRI in order to look at that.
Gotcha. Are there different types or grades of tears in a rotator cuff tear?
100%. So there's partial thickness tears, and then there's full thickness tears. And there's different treatments for those. In addition, between partial and full thickness, once you have a full thickness tear, some of those can be complete avulsions where it tears off the bone from a traumatic injury. And then there's others that can be massive tears. You have small, medium, large, and massive. And those affect the treatment and the surgery thereafter. Like when we get into surgery, we'll see some that will look like a big V-shaped tear where we have to actually sew them back together first before we can actually reattach it back down to the bone. So those are more complex tear patterns.
Sure. So when is surgery necessary, and when can a tear just heal without a surgical intervention?
So partial thickness tears, a lot of people will try to heal definitely without surgery. So if it's less than 50% especially, then some people will try physical therapy. There are even people that do PRP injections, which is a biologic to try to get healing, and time alone and just strengthening exercises. They don't always heal, but some of them will get enough strength that they're pain-free and they can live with it. And then surgery is indicated definitely for full thickness tears, especially if they remain symptomatic and they have weakness. Like I said, there are some elderly individuals that can live with very small full thickness tears and they choose not to have surgery. But most of your really active individuals, if it's a full thickness tear, they have weakness. If you leave a full thickness tear, it does get bigger with time.
Gotcha. Are there risks or downsides to delaying treatment?
Yes, the biggest risk to delaying treatment is that if you have a full thickness tear, it loses blood supply from not being attached to the bone any longer. So once there's no bone attachment and then no blood supply, that tissue then atrophies. So once it loses blood supply, you think of the muscle shrinking. So kind of like what a steak would have, the marbling in a steak, it turns fatty. And then that is hard to repair. So if you lose all of that muscle, you no longer have good muscle to repair. So if you have someone long term with that, then you have to look at putting in a reverse replacement instead of actually being able to repair their cuff.
That sounds intense.
Yes.
So what does physical therapy look like after a rotator cuff surgery?
So varies definitely based on the extent of the repair. So most of them are in a sling from anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks after the surgery. They start physical therapy immediately. For small tears, they are, starting progressive strengthening starting at 6 to 8 weeks. Physical therapy goes on usually for 3 to 6 months post-operatively, so it's definitely a commitment for those patients. But they usually start strengthening anywhere from between 6 and 8 weeks post-operatively. But they are usually in therapy for 2 to 3 times a week, anywhere from 3 to 6 months post-op.
And what does that physical therapy kind of look like? Like, what are the types of movements and exercises that they're doing?
So initially they're working on passive range of motion, so they're regaining range of motion without the patient actually doing it on their own. So that way it's not pulling at the repair that we just did, so they're not pulling at the anchors. As time goes by, the patient is then working on range of motion actively on their own. Then they start a strengthening phase in which they're actually trying to regain strength of that muscle and trying to engage it. And then over time, they just build up more strength.
And when you're talking about these types of tears where the muscle has disconnected from the bone, how does that happen? Is that more of the kind of acute trauma type of
So you'll get
issue?
people who have bad falls. So we'll have people who fall off ladders. You'll have athletes obviously that have contact injuries, but usually your really young athlete generally doesn't have a bad tear from an injury like that. So it's more as we age, and it's going to be people in my age group that have a bad fall. So they could be in their 40s and have a fall and unfortunately then tear their cuff because of that. They can avulse the cuff completely off just as a big sleeve of tissue, and then that has to be reattached or they can't pick up their arm. They'll come in acutely disabled where they can't lift at all. Whereas you'll see the elderly people will just come in with just more, like I said, an insidious onset of they're just like, my shoulder's been hurting for a long time, it's getting worse, I'm gradually getting less and less strength, but they can't think of an incident of an injury, and they didn't have one. It just kind of degeneratively tears over time.
So weakness and pain in the shoulder, and go talk to your doctor about possibility of rotator cuff
Correct.
tear. All
Yes.
right. Well, thank you for sharing this with us today.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Stay with us. We're learning about the work of Alzheimer's Association and how you can get involved.
Navigating healthcare is hard. Baptist makes it better. With convenient locations, easy scheduling, and skilled, compassionate doctors, all when you need us most. The next time you need care, let Baptist make it better. Baptist Healthcare.
The Reesburg Institute, Pensacola's ear, nose, throat, and voice center. We welcome you to visit us at our convenient Davis Highway location in Pensacola. At the Reesburg Institute, we offer the most advanced treatment available in a calm, stress-free environment. Since 2014, we've performed over 1,000 cases in office of balloon sinus surgery, as well as septoplasty and nasal procedures using oral sedation. The in-office procedures result in a faster healing time. Visit us and feel the difference.
Animal Allies is looking for volunteers, and there are many ways that you can help. From taking care of cats to using your computer and social media skills, any and all assistance is greatly appreciated. We have morning and afternoon shifts every day or help at adoption events. You could even foster a kitty at home. And it counts towards community service hours for bright futures. Find Animal Allies Florida on Facebook and Instagram, or go to aaflorida.org/volunteer.
Keeping your family healthy can be complicated. Baptist makes it better with trusted primary care doctors for the whole family and trusted specialists at convenient locations throughout the region ready to care for you. All when you need us most. Let Baptist make it better. Baptist Healthcare.
Alzheimer's Association is leading the way in ending Alzheimer's disease and other dementias by driving research, raising awareness, and providing support and resources for those living with Alzheimer's and their caregivers. The organization also engages in advocacy and raises awareness for Alzheimer's and other dementias to mobilize people to action in the fight against the disease. Here to tell us more is Tina Henson. Thank you for being here, Tina.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So first of all, tell me about the mission of Alzheimer's Association and your role there.
So I am the Senior Community Development and Community Engagement Manager. And so the mission of the Alzheimer's Association is really truly, the works of the Alzheimer's Association is for those living with Alzheimer's and all other dementias. Our biggest thing that we do is that we are the largest non-for-profit fundraiser for Alzheimer's research. And the second thing is that we are the leading voice for Alzheimer's for those in advocacy work in Tallahassee and Washington, D.C., because we know that critical research is what is going to get us to our end result.
So what resources do you offer for people who have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's or other dementias?
So the Alzheimer's Association offers a variety of resources. One is our in-person and our virtual support groups. We have local programming and as well as virtual programming. We have personalized care for Alzheimer's through our new Dementia Care Navigation program, which is really very exciting. So you can call and find out if you qualify for that program. And then we're super excited about our new app that we have. It's called the My Alz Journey. It's a mobile app for those people who are recently diagnosed, and it really kind of gives them a step-by-step of what they should be looking for as this journey begins. And then we have our brain health outreach, which includes our brain bus, where we bring that outreach to people in the communities. We have our 24-hour assistance line, which is 1-800-272-3900. And for more resources, you can always go to alz.org.
And we direct people to that 24/7 hotline a lot. We get a lot of emails with people who are just starting that journey. So that app and all those newer resources sound like they're so needed in this community especially.
Yeah, so we also have a link that can take you to all of the local information. So it's alzfla.org/programs.
Gotcha. Okay, so all the local resources all in one place.
Exactly.
Perfect. So what are the resources that you offer for the caregivers of those with dementia?
Mostly, I would say the caregivers' resources will be our support groups. We have a lot of those support groups, and then our online education classes. So if we don't have something in person, we have a whole virtual library of classes where people can sign on at their leisure. And we also have virtual support groups where people can get on and speak with other people that are going through the same type of journey as them. So if their wives taking care of their husbands or daughters taking care of their parents, they can talk to same people that are traveling the journey with them. So it's pretty exciting.
And that's so helpful because it's such an isolating experience, and I know that these support groups, which we have some support groups, we're partnered with other organizations that have support groups, and just whatever works for the caregivers, depending on which one they can get to, whether it's online or in person, it's just so important to have that community.
Yeah.
So tell me about the Walk to End Alzheimer's.
I'm so excited about
that.
So
we rescheduled it, so we have more time to fundraise, get a team, and get involved. Tell us about when and where, all the details of that.
So the Walk to End Alzheimer's has been rescheduled for December the 7th. It's a Sunday afternoon. We'll be at Community Maritime Park. We're very excited. We're about 92% to our goal of $145,000.
Nice.
So there is time for you to start a team, come out, support us, enjoy the day. Hopefully it will be a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and you can come out and join us on that day. So we're excited about it.
Excellent. And how can people maybe donate to a team?
So they can go to alz.org/Pensacola. Gives you all the information on the Pensacola Walk as far as date and time. You can go on there and make a general donation to the walk, or if you have your favorite team that is walking with us, you can make a donation directly to their team.
And we do have a team for our retreat at Council on Aging if anyone's interested in donating to that team. So what are some other opportunities for people to get involved with Alzheimer's Association?
So you can become an advocate, you can volunteer for events, be on the committee, help with the walk, for example. You can become a community connector. For those people who have done this journey and they want to help others in the community, they want to spread awareness about the association and our resources, they could become a community connector. So there's a lot of ways that you can volunteer and get involved, and you can just go to alz.org/volunteer.
Excellent. So tell me more about what all is going on at the walk, because we know there will be vendor tables out there, like Council on Aging will be out there with our table. What are some of the other things going on in addition?
So the walk starts at 2 o'clock, and from 2 to 3, our vendor tables will be up and running, and we'll have music. We're going to have some interesting things happen on the stage this year, which will be a little different, but we have a mission village. We have our presenting sponsor, which is HCA West Florida Hospital, and then our national teams will also be there with their tables and really participating and helping us out that day. And then at 3 o'clock, we'll kick off our Promise Garden ceremony. It's probably the most impactful part of the day. It is really that largest support group of the year where you can feel like you're not alone on the journey. So everyone will get a flower, which is their relationship to the cause. They will hold that flower during the ceremony, and then we'll start our walk right after that. So our flower colors are purple for those who have lost someone, yellow for our caregivers, blue for those living with dementia, and then our orange flower is our advocacy flower. And then our vision is a world without Alzheimer's, so we have a white flower that joins us on the stage at the end for that hopefulness that someday we won't have to have this walk anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else you want to say about Alzheimer's Association, your programs, resources that you want to let people know about?
So we're always doing resources and education in the area, and if you have a company or a business that would like some more information to be brought to your employees, you can always reach out to us, and we're happy to come in and set up an educational training for them.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Up next, we're talking about how you can be a Santa to a senior. Stay tuned.
Do you want to meet a family with a transgender kid? Here we are. We love our kids unconditionally, and we will never stop fighting for them. Stand with us. Protect our families.
We are taught you don't talk about your problems with nobody because you could get in trouble. And I've been through a lot. Anxiety, depression, sexual assault. When I decided to get help, my life changed. And the mental health box, that was one of the big tools. Accepting help means that we are allowing somebody to bless our life. It's freeing. We got stronger together. Love your mind.
Elmo's daddy taught him that when he has a big feeling like being frustrated, humming a song can help you feel better. Love your mind.
The holidays can be a lonely and isolating time of year for vulnerable older adults. Luckily, there are many organizations in our community that work together to make this season all it should be for those who can often be forgotten at this time of year. Let's hear more about how you can be a Santa to a senior with Stacy Robello of Home Instead. Thanks for joining me today, Stacy.
Thank you for having me.
So first off, tell us a bit about Home Instead and what you all do.
Sure. Home Instead, what we do is we provide care for older adults wherever they call home. So anything from what we call your ADLs, activities of daily living. So if you think about the start of your day, you know, making your meals, taking meds, getting dressed, evening bathing and grooming. But we also even do it more extensive care if they have Alzheimer's disease or if they have chronic care conditions. Mm-hmm. So some people might need us just a few hours a week. Some people might need us up to 24 hours a day. It really just depends on the need.
And you're available 24 hours a day for all those services?
Yes, we are.
Awesome.
Yeah, so, and like I said, it's just tailored to whatever they need.
Gotcha.
And some people might just live in a traditional home. Some people might live in a facility. So we can provide the care wherever they call home.
Gotcha. So what is Home Instead doing for seniors this year and for many years before for the holidays?
Yeah. So we have a program called Be a Santa to a Senior, and we've been doing this since 2003. So it's been around for a minute, but we partner with people like you, Council on Aging, and we really try to find seniors that are lonely, vulnerable, just quite frankly are forgotten. And you know, the kids are always remembered for Christmas, but you know, it's the seniors that a lot of times people don't remember. And we want to be able to give back to them. These are the ones that paved the way for us throughout all the years. It's a way for us to give back and say thank you, Merry Christmas, and it's also just a way for us to just make sure that they're remembered.
Exactly, and we love to think about our seniors. You know, Council on Aging might be doing services that are giving them, their daily needs are met. But Be a Santa to a Senior allows the people to give them a little something extra, that little something special to make the season magical for them as well.
Yep, exactly.
So why is this so important? You've talked a bit about this, but of course the risks of isolation, of loneliness, of sadness that can come with the holidays. Why is it so important to have a program that remembers these people around the holidays?
Well, I think loneliness is definitely an epidemic that we're facing. However, I think COVID definitely made us more aware of it. However, it's been around forever. But the holidays can be lonely for a lot of people, and older adults that are living at home, like I said, they're forgotten. So we really like to think about, you know, this could possibly be their last Christmas. So we'll be able to give back to them. Just simple things like a robe, or sometimes it might even be just maybe some slippers, or even a nice throw, something that would just make them feel more comfortable at home. And really there might even be bigger items that they might ask for, such as like a microwave or a vacuum. And even though that might seem a little strange to some people, it's very simple if you think about it. They just need something they can warm their meal in or keep their floor clean. And this creates an environment for them to age in place. And so that's really what we're trying to do, is bring those two things together. They're getting the gifts, but they're also getting things that are provided for them where they can age in place. Another thing that people might not even think of is a space heater. So something just to keep them warm, because sometimes they really just can't afford to keep their place warm because of the bills.
Yes.
So we would try to put that on the list as well.
Awesome. And tell me about how the program works. Like, what are the logistics? Where can people go? How do people find out how they can be a Santa to a Senior?
So what we do is we partner with local businesses. This year we've had a huge influx of chambers around the area. They're going to put up trees for us. So this really gives businesses opportunity to come in and help, because I think there's a lot of times businesses want to help in the community. They don't really know how. So this has been a great community engagement for us. So we're going to have Gulf Breeze Chamber, Pensacola Chamber, Santa Rosa Chamber, all involved. In fact, Navarre Chamber is going to be involved as well.
Oh, awesome.
So they're going to put up trees, and what we're going to do is we're going to get names from you guys. So basically your Meals on Wheels program is a great way for us to start, because we know a lot of those people are living at home alone and they're vulnerable. So we get that list together and we put little tags up on the tree. So what I like to tell people is it reminds you of like the angel tree for children. So it's the same thing for seniors, the exact same program. We're just flipping it with the ages. So we're, you know, very simple, go pick out the tag that they want. So it can even be a gift card too, because sometimes they just might need a gift card to go pick out what they need. So we like to allow that flexibility. But they can pick out the tag, bring it back to the tree with the gift attached to the present, and they can wrap it. It's totally optional. We do have a gift wrapping party that we do for those that don't want to wrap the gift, but they can just drop it off in the box, and then we collect the gifts and make sure that we take it back to, we deliver it to you guys.
Excellent, and we love to take part in that wrapping party. That's always kind of a holiday activity for us, where we get to help attach, you know, connect the gift with the tag and put it in a nice bag, and then get it out to our seniors.
Yep.
So what are some of the items that are being asked for by the seniors?
So just simple items like robes, blankets, socks.
Cozy items.
Yeah, pajamas. Sometimes I mean coats. I mean, you know, we do have a cold winter, and it might not be long, but we do have those days where it's really cold. So having a coat is something that a lot of them might need. But like I said, the space heater, I don't think a lot of people realize just how helpful that can be for, if they just want to stay in one room where it's warm and they don't have to turn on their heat and they can save money. It really does make a difference. And then of course, sometimes they even ask for things like cookies, or just simple items like toiletry items. It might be something like soap or shampoo. But like I said, these are all things that they can age in place. It helps them remain as independent as possible in their home.
Absolutely. And yeah, it is often these simple items, these cozy items that are maybe, wants, not needs, but just to make them more comfortable in their homes, in their space. So tell us about the loneliness and isolation that can be experienced by elders at this time of year.
Well, I think that for most of us, it's just normal to feel that way. I think, in the general population, but for older adults, I think like I said, it's an epidemic that happens just year round, but even more so during the holidays. Most families are sandwiched. So they've got their kids that they're busy with their careers, and so sometimes the parents are, not as busy and they're at home alone and not as involved, and maybe it's because they just can't get around, or they might live out of town away from their parents and they can't get to their parents. So there's all these different factors that are going in. It's just our society, the way things are, we're not really living with our parents like we used to. So it's really important to even make that phone call, check up on them, because something like that can just make a difference.
And even neighbors, if you have an elderly neighbor, drop off some cookies, go say hi, just do a little check-in. So how can people get involved?
Well, they can go find a tree. So we do have trees, like I said, at all the chambers. We also have a tree at First United Methodist Church downtown. Also, Gulf Breeze Methodist will be putting up a tree as well. So those are places that you can go. Just go shop local. That's what we encourage people to do whenever you get the tag off the tree, because really you're getting everyone involved. So you're going and you're giving back to the community, you're shopping local, the businesses are getting involved, and even at our gift wrapping party, the bags that we have that we wrap all the gifts in, we have elementary children decorate those. So we get the children involved too, and it really is a community effort. So everybody knows that, this really is the highlight for them. I mean, some of them, it might even bring back great childhood memories for them. So, because there are some facilities that we do get back to, and they have a big Christmas party and they open up their gifts together, and just a delight on their faces. It is pretty incredible.
And what's the last date that people can participate?
So the trees are going up this week and next week. The last day will be December 15th. Our gift wrapping party will be December 17th at 10 a.m. at our office, which is 817 North Palafox.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Can't wait to be part of it.
Can't wait to see you there.
Thanks. And thank you for watching. Until next time, enjoy life. You've earned it.